But the idea of somebody, not you, sharing in a video about the dangers of premature sexualization and then going to the primary school and collecting your 9-year-old daughter and consummating your marriage at home, while at the time of Muhammad, yes, there were examples all around the world of that happening. Is that the best we can do for that 9-year-old? And as a Christian, I don't believe it is.
We took a picture of the actual yeah? So it's 100% in there.
Yeah.
But even argument's sake, we go to with a 12-year-old, yeah? That's
Yeah,
no problem.
12.
But 100% at the age of 7, they're betrothed. Now, being betrothed does not mean consummation.
Yes,
okay,
agreed.
Now, my stance is very clear. The Prophet, peace be upon him, married Aisha at 6. We have no problem with that. Let me tell you why. Okay. The Prophet, peace be upon him, married. In Islam, marriage doesn't mean consummation.
Yep.
So when we think about marriage, we're thinking somebody goes, and in today's time, sex happens before marriage. We live at times today, the Christian values, this is against Christian values, by the way, to have sex before marriage, right?
Christian values?
Yeah, sex before marriage?
No, they're not. They're un-Christian values.
No. This is against Christian values.
Oh, yes, it is. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So we're singing from the same page.
Exactly.
We agreed,
Exactly.
and also we agree that historically the betrothal didn't mean they would have a sexual relationship. That meant that they would join together for future matrimony. We get it. We get it.
We're heading in the right direction.
Right.
Yeah?
Okay.
That's what I love.
See how long we can keep.
No. That's why I love speaking to you, because you're not hostile and you're asking genuine questions.
We're trying to get to the truth and let God open the minds of the people to accept whatever happens.
And if they reject, that's up to them. Yeah.
Okay.
So now the point I'm trying to make is this: the Prophet, peace be upon him, married Aisha at 6, and he consummated the marriage at 9. Now the question that needs to be asked is this, yeah? Okay. The question asked is this, yeah? So as you can see, and we can see, and that's what Allah tells us in the Quran, the people of the book are not the same. I can't look at him and this guy. No.
Let's stick with that. Stick with that. No, don't build me up, because no. Don't please.
I've never seen hostility from you.
No.
I've never seen you being insulting me. I've never seen you insulting my Prophet. I have to be real.
No, go on. No, sorry. Yeah. So you're. Let's just get these right. So betrothed at 6, consummated at 9.
Yes, good.
Hold on to that.
Now, listen carefully, guys, because this is the reason why. David Wood hated the fact this answer destroyed, because he can't use the age of marriage in Aisha anymore. Yeah? Check this out. Now, at 6 is marriage. At age of 9 is consummation. The question that we all need to ask is the following.
Yeah.
Why would the Prophet wait 3 years? Now, think about it. He could have come and say, I'm the Prophet of God. God has ordained me to marry at 6 and consummate at 6. But he waited 3 years. Why would he wait 3 years? Now, the question is, brothers. You're speaking over, yeah? Just speak later, please. Thank you. So, the question is this, yeah?
For him?
Okay. Yeah. So, the Prophet, peace be upon him, the fact that he waited 3 years, we learn a lesson from that today. So, when you come and say to me, Ali, hold on a second, why don't you marry someone at 6? I'm like, let me tell you why. Because the Prophet, peace be upon him, is an example for all times. Because a lot of Christians come and say, but your Prophet is an example for all times. I never said he's an example just that time. What do I take and learn from that? I learn from that the following. I have a son. My son is 16 years old. And he says, Dad, I want to marry a girl. And I say, how old is she? She's 12. Okay. Let's see what the Prophet, peace be upon him, taught us. He taught us that when he married Aisha at 6, he waited for her to become an adult at 9. 1400 years ago. So thank you very much.
Yeah, this is.
Let's be fair, yeah?
This is where I. This is. Yeah. To be honest with you, Ali.
Let me finish my point.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, finish.
Let me finish my point. Yeah. Let me finish my point. Yeah. So now, I'm going to finish my point.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. So now the question is this. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
If I learn from that is the following. I will say to my son, we learn from the Prophet, peace be upon him, that you cannot marry until she becomes an adult. Now, adult to what country? Go to France. What's the age limit? None. 0. UK 16. Check this out. In Turkey it's 18. Turkey is a Muslim. You can say it's a Muslim country. Saudi Arabia is 18. Yeah. The question is this. According to us UK, we have to look at France and be like, these guys are pedophiles. And the Turkey and Saudi Arabia, we look at us and say, these guys are pedophiles. We say 18, they say 16. The question is this. We have to wait from the Prophet's example and tradition for a woman to reach the age of adulthood, and that's when consummation happens. Because otherwise, what happens is an harm factor. So when we did the video about the whole thing, I'm not contradicting myself, because I'm consistent and I'm saying that any girl in this country, if a girl is 16 years old, maybe she's not ready for sex, but the law says she is, but maybe she is not physically not ready. So this is where Islam comes and says, not one shoe fits all. each individual girl differs. So you can't come and say, oh, you're 16 now, let's have sex. Because the UK has a pandemic of teenage pregnancies who are having sex behind the bushes at the age of 11, 12 and 13.
Yes, yeah. You know what? I appreciate the things that Ali has said.
So you released his
right, we all understand that if we go back 1,000 years, that there wasn't any such thing as birth records. You couldn't trace somebody's age. So it seemed that many primitive peoples, including the primitive people of the West, they would have seen menstruation as the time when a woman is available for sex. But we as Christians, we're trying to examine best practice. Men have been given governance over women by God. It seems historically, just because the way we're built. No. It seems no. So it seems that it's men who decide the age of consent, not women. And we as Christians, I mean, you would say that you have progressive revelation. We feel as Christians that we've got to follow the best practice for those that we have power over. And I have 5 daughters, and I've seen them all grow up from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, when you said to me that, I think you were giving an example of Muhammad showing restraint in waiting from 6 to 9, inside of me, I felt really bad.
Why?
And I'll explain why. Because I've seen 5 of my daughters pass through to the age of 9. Now, let's say at the time of Muhammad, he would have been doing nothing out of the norm. This would have been normal practice. But when we look at it in today, and we have the evidence of the maturity of a girl mentally at the age of 9 to engage in sexual activity, compared to waiting 3 years, 4 years. If we were to ask the girl of 9, if we were to look, I suppose if we do an analogy, let's say there's a man who's collecting his daughter from his wife from primary school. I just want us to just focus on that. Would we think that child in primary school, who let's say you've married a 9-year-old, let's just make it personal, because that might reach our hearts, because I believe that you want to have an integral understanding of things, and you also you have a conscience and you want to do the right thing. I can feel that from you. But the idea of somebody, not you, sharing in a video about the dangers of premature sexualization, and then going to the primary school and collecting your 9-year-old daughter and consummating your marriage at home, while at the time of Muhammad, yes, there were examples all around the world of that happening. Is that the best we can do for that 9-year-old? And as a Christian, I don't believe it is. And when we look at the example of Mary, I've heard this, and maybe this will come up, that she was the age of 12.
There's even other verses. I think in the book of Deuteronomy or Numbers, I can't remember.
Okay, yeah.
So when it tells you when you go to war. But I think you've misunderstood my point.
Please do.
I think you've totally misunderstood my point, because what you're doing is the fallacy of false equivocation. Because what you're doing is you're looking at your 9-year-old today, and you're saying, if I went and picked in my primary school a 9-year-old, but that defeats my whole argument, because listen carefully.
I want to.
I'm saying the following. At the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, till today, when the Prophet, peace be upon him, married the age at 6 and consummated at 9, what we're saying, please listen carefully, what we're saying is the following. That example of the Prophet waiting 3 years, the Prophet wasn't like, oh, I have to control myself. No, the Prophet ﷺ was a man who's a prophet. It's not like he was like, because today we have pornography. We are so sexually in our minds. It's like someone, like, for example, if I was a thief, and if you said to me, Ali, can you look after this? I'll be thinking to myself, no. If I was a thief and I said to you, what's your name? Sorry,
Colin.
If I said, Colin, can you look after my phone?
Yep.
I would never say that. You know why? Because I'm a thief, and I'll think everyone's a thief like me. So because we have this, I'm not saying you, I'm not generalizing.
No,
I'm saying because we have a perverted understanding. Even today, when you look at a woman, let me tell you something. Most men look at them as sexualized objects because of how we've been conditioned. So just because we have this perverted thought process, we can't come and apply it to everyone and be like, oh, this person must have been a paedophile. So my argument is the following. When the Prophet, peace be upon him, married Aisha at 6 and consummated at 9, that is a lesson for us. We can't take the numbers here, because what you're doing is you're saying, Ali, is the number 6 and 9. I'm saying, I never said that. The numbers are the following. We learn a lesson from that the girl, or the boy, by the way, has to reach the age of puberty. Now, when we bring that to today's time, what is the age of puberty? When does one become an adult, to our standard?
12-ish, 12 adolescent.
No, 16.
Yeah.
Adult 16.
Oh, you mean given the responsibilities?
Responsibility.
Yeah.
France 15.
Okay, yeah.
What? Who did that? Who did that?
Oh no.
Religion of peace, ladies and gentlemen.
Who did that?
Oh dear.
What a joke that guy is.
What happened? What
I think he
happened?
pulled the
Not
wall
Asif.
down. You alright, bro? Asif, you alright? What a fuck? No, what a clown. I'm gonna swear, but what a clown, bro. You alright?
Asif, I worry for you. I keep safe, please God, on the Feast of Pentecost that the Holy Spirit will look after you, Asif. Yeah.
So Colin, do a little summary. What's been happening?
Well, no, wait till Ali comes back. Yeah.
I'll be quiet, man. Shut up.
What do you mean be quiet? Shut up. Why you come debating? I can show you a brother was a demon and a
I'll
terrorist.
slap intellectually back to
What?
the
Slap me?
No, can we, no, please,
Intellectually.
please.
I'm glad you corrected yourself. Glad you corrected yourself.
Hang on. We want to do something different in this conversation. Now.
So, I'm so
Yeah,
sorry, Colin.
okay, yeah, go on.
That was disgusting. Whoever done it, I'm being honest, this is a weak argument. Put someone water over an elderly man. Anyways, Colin, my point is the following,
Yep.
I'm saying, when I give you the numbers of 6 and 9, don't carry that to today's time, because I'm saying we're learning a lesson from that. The Prophet waited 3 years. Why? To tell us that a girl has to reach the age of puberty. We bring that to the 14th century, 21st century. That teaches me the following. What is British law? What does British law say? That a girl is an adult at the age of 16.
Yes.
As Muslims, we have to obey the law of the land because we live in this land. Number one, we obey the law of the land,
Yep.
So if today's age, the age of a woman becoming an adult is 16, is 17, is 18, from the prophetic tradition, it goes hand to hand. So I'm not contradicting myself. So if I want to marry a girl and I'm 21 years old and she's 14, the prophetic tradition teaches me you have to wait till she becomes an adult, because the Prophet waited for Aisha to become an adult. So I have to wait for her to become 16.
There's no 9-year-old
If the age is 18, 18.
No such
Does
thing
that
as
make clear?
9-year-old.
Sure.
So that's why when you give the comparison of a 9-year-old, you're misunderstanding my argument. Because nobody's saying here that Muslims have to marry a 9-year-old. If you ask me, would I allow my 9-year-old daughter to get married? No, this doesn't contradict the prophetic tradition.
Okay, yeah, Ali, no, thank you for that clarification. I think what changes things is perhaps that
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. See, for Muhammad is the exemplar for all mankind.
Yes.
So I appreciate the things that you've just said, but I still think from a Christian perspective that
I can't hear your friend. Look, you're a Christian is trying to speak.
that
Okay, ignore it.
right.
Listen. Once I finish this, when I finish, I'm going to shake you.
See, look, Ali, look, can we let's focus on this. Okay, I can see the position that you hold, you'll be able to maintain. However, there are many people, let's say I'm a Muslim, I'm just,
Islam.
oh yeah, no, I understand that. So I've got 5 daughters, okay?
I got my back to you, bro. Remember, if you read the Quran verse, I got my back to you.
Okay, right. Regardless of the things that you've said, and I heard them, I tried to listen to them attentively. Okay. Still, when it comes to the sexualization of children discussion that we had, and the reason that we felt that it was morally wrong to prematurely sexualize children was because they were below the age of responsibility, and we shouldn't be turning them into adults when they're still children. This is effectively what we agreed on, and this is why, when it comes to not having an age of consent and an exemplar who consummate the marriage at 9, as
brothers, this is speakers called up.
please look. No, everybody, look. We're having a great conversation. Don't ruin it. We don't. No. Come on, Bella. Come on. Stop. Who wants to hear the discussion? Calm down. Come on.
Go away. Go do something else. Go talk to Muhammad hijab. Go talk to Muhammad hijab. Go away.
Come on. No.
He's provoking.
No, look.
My bro,
Come on. You, hey, Captain, you come over this side. You come over this side.
Honestly, you're just talking at this point.
No, look. No. Captain. Go stand with John. No. Brother. None of us are representing our religions here. Ali, how are we gonna? Captain. Captain. Go with John. Go with John. Go with John now. Come on, we're having a conversation. John.
Did everyone? One second. Did everyone notice that when I start giving logical answers, he starts barking?
What logical answers? What logical answers? Where was the logical answers?
Look,
I didn't see them.
Look, he started insulting the prophet when Colin, when I was making my argument, he thought, this doesn't sound good. I know, I'll insult the prophet. You're weak, bro.
No. Now, Ali, is it
a 9-year-old girl?
Yeah.
There is nothing justifiable about raping a 9-year-old girl.
Captain,
You can threaten me all you want. You can threaten me all you want. It doesn't matter.
Coward, bro.
No, look.
I'm a coward, I'm right here. What you want about?
Effectively, my friend, my brother, I'm effectively, brother, stop it. No, can you listen to me, please? Please. Look at me. Effectively, I'm trying. Please. Brother, look at me now. I'm effectively trying to discuss this and come to the same conclusions. Will you let me? No.
These brothers are attacking me. This guy's saying he's going to slap me intellectually. They're saying they're going to slap me for real. I don't know what's going on, bro. I'm going to be honest.
You're gay.
Yeah.
Fellas, me and Ali are trying to have a conversation. Look, let the passions go down. The passions go down. You know what? Can I say something to Ali in amongst Ali? We've attempted to discuss one of the most. You know what, Ali, me and you should never have discussed this to public realm. We shouldn't have done it. I know. Because this is, I wanted to discuss.
Your mates.
Ali.
Your mates.
I don't want to attack anyone.
Yeah, your mates.
Right.
Colin,
Look, I don't know what to say.
I had to clarify this.
No.
Let's move from here.
No, you follow us.
Yeah, let's
So
move
guys,
from here.
let me make something clear, yeah? We was having a peaceful discussion until he started insulting the prophet. If I'm here insulting Jesus, I'm provoking Christians, that's wrong. I mean, you're
Listen to your brother. This is a good Muslim brother right here. You lot need to behave better. This is a good Muslim brother right here. I rate this brother. I don't pray
He's insulting the prophet.
Yeah. You know what? Me and you engaged in probably the most delicate discussion that a Christian and Muslim can have, okay? And we wanted to explore it, and even if we disagreed, well, let's go. Fellas, peace. Yeah, I shall do. Look. Don't get triggered. Don't be triggered by it. Don't be triggered. Yeah. I want to do. Oh yeah. Cheers. Wait. Go easy.
It's not me going easy. Did they not threaten to attack me just a minute ago?
We're going to try and win the argument through truth.
I don't mind.
We don't. This is the place for this. No. Hey, no hitting. No hitting. Ryan, you come with me. Come on. Let's go, fella. Come on, man. Come on. You come with me, fella. Come on. You come with me. We'll go. Come on.
Don't need protecting, mate.
Ooh. Let's go by the fence. Let's go by the fence.
Because he's trying to make.
Don't go by the fence, Ali. Come on.
I have a speech.
Okay, Ali.
Sorry, so we were left off. Sorry.
Right. I think I was trying to understand what you said, and I was just going to make a very brief response and then let you take over there, because that's how a conversation goes. Yeah. Okay. Now, despite what Ali said, and I know that he sincerely believes this, and this is his heartfelt position, me still as a Christian, I think it is a good thing for society to afford a young girl as much time as we can to mature and to, so let's say if the minimum age was 9, and there may be in history some times where a 9-year-old is, I mean, I'm not trying to justify it, but what I'm trying to say is the growth of a girl having got 5 daughters from 9 to 12, from 12 to 13 to 12 to 14 to 12 to 16, for me seems the best practice to afford a young girl as much time as we can to reach maturity of mind and body. And much as I can understand from what you're saying that you would, with your daughter, how old's your daughter?
My daughter's 4.
Your daughter's 4. That you're not bound to marry her off to anybody at 9. I understand that.
Islam doesn't call for that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. But I'm saying I'm putting myself in a position where I'm not Ali. I've got 5 daughters.
Yep.
Okay, maybe I'm living in Somalia on a poor farm. I can barely afford to feed them.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, now within my system, my religion, I would be able to say, you take this one, you take this one, because I can't afford to feed them. Now,
No, Islam
okay.
forbids you from that. You know,
Okay.
Islam, even there's hadith, I think, it says that, you know, if you fear, in the Arabian Peninsula, they were killing girls for a couple of reasons, yeah? One of them may have been that because they couldn't look after them. And
Yeah.
Allah says in the Quran, if I'm mistaken, Sheikh, that Allah is the one that provides. So do not kill your daughters out of poverty.
Okay,
So what we're saying is, what you
All
just
right.
said, Islam is hand to hand, because Islam doesn't say, once again, the prophetic tradition teaches us, the fact that the Prophet waited 3 years, we implement that across board. So what we do is, like you said, my daughter, I'll give my example as my daughter. My daughter, she becomes 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I'm not going to go to my daughter and say, even though at the age of 16, in this country, they're allowed to have boyfriends, and they have it before, they're allowed to have boyfriends and have sex. I would say to my daughter that at the age of 16, I would say, look, are you ready to get married? Because we do marriage, we don't do it, yeah?
Yeah.
If I sense
Yeah.
that, you know what?
We don't do dating, we do marriage discernment.
Exactly. So, let's carry on.
Yeah, sorry.
So if we're talking about marriage, I would come to my daughter and say, actually, she's actually very immature. She's immature. Not only
This is your 16-year daughter.
No, imagine my daughter's 16
Oh, yeah.
years old. I'm just gonna make last point, Sheikh, I need to make.
Yeah.
So, I hope that clarified that at the age of 16, I would say you're still immature. Islam doesn't say to me, she has to get married. She can come and say, Dad, I want to work. I want to go uni.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah,
At the age of 18, 19, I can come and say, if you want to get married, the options are there.
Sure.
I need to go.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that
Could I just say one last thing, right?
I'm gonna finish on.
I mean, maybe me and you can have a one-to-one conversation on this without the cameras,
Yes.
but I still, as a Christian,
Yeah.
would, and as a person in a position of authority and power over my family and my daughters, I still balk at the idea that it would be acceptable within my faith tradition for you to marry my 9-year-old daughter, because if she stood there,
That goes against Islam.
it doesn't exist, but it would be acceptable.
No, it's not acceptable.
It's not acceptable. Tell me now. Hang on.
Let me say something.
Yeah,
Can
go
I-
on.
can I- can I
Yeah,
say
please do.
something?
Yeah,
So in order to clarify this to you,
please do.
which standard that we should use? Shall we use your own standard, or which standard that we need to use? Now we are saying, you said, according to your own standard, yeah. You mentioned I will not do this to my daughter, so you don't accept this to anyone else's daughter, basically, yeah. According to your standard. My issue is,
Yes.
we cannot implement your standard everywhere in the world. That's your own standard. My point is, you could argue, yeah, you could argue like other people argue. You could say that this is the standard. Everyone, they will not give their daughters 9 years old. This is the time and age. The people, they will not accept this.
Right.
But if you go back in the history, it was the norm for the people to get married at that age.
I understand.
For example, Mary, according to your own scripture, she was married when she was at the age of 12.
Yes.
No, now here we could say, but 12 is more than 9. But which standard here? That's why we need to know that there is in Islam, there is something, a factor in Islam plays big role in Islam, which called urf, meaning the natural or the habits of the people or the tradition of the people plays big role in terms of legislation in Islam. Meaning,
Right.
with the people,
Okay.
for example, Islam did not give limit for the
Age of consent.
The age of consent. They said at the age when they reach the age of puberty,
Maturity, yeah,
the age
yeah.
of puberty, which is maturity for them, now is up to them. But here in Islam as well, give the standard of the urf, which is the habits of the people.
Yeah,
Now,
I understand.
and according to the habits of the
Right.
people of, for example, my country now, the age of consent they believe around 16 or 17 years old.
Okay.
In Jordan.
Right.
In-
Is that good? Do you think that's better?
One second. It's now
Allow me to
we
respond.
Cannot, yeah, I'm just giving you kind of.
Yeah. No.
insight
Please
about
do.
what's
Please
going
do.
on.
Yeah.
My own grandmother, the mother of my father, she was married to my grandfather when she was 10. And then when I asked her, how did you marry at that age? She said, all my other friends, all of them, they got married before me, and I was one of the one who delayed, wasn't married at that point.
So she delayed from 9 till.
No, not 9. It was in the same year or around that year that most of her friends were married.
Yeah.
And then she was feared that she was being left
Oh
behind.
right, at the age of 10.
At the age of 10. And then she gave birth to my father when she was 11. She had my father when she was 11. And the difference age between herself and my father was 11 years. Literally 11 years. When you go to ask, my grandfather was already 16 or 17 when he married her.
Okay.
Then I asked her, how did you manage The question is, I told her, how did you manage? You were a girl, and at that age, how did you manage to do that? She said, for me, when I married your grandfather, it was less burden on me than the work and the amount of work which I was doing in her own father's house. She was doing much more and has more responsibility.
Right.
You know, on the.
Could I respond? No, I appreciate what you've said there. My response to the words that you've just said kind of convict me more that much as I hear your justification, I can hear it, and you've given it in detail, that it is a better practice for society to afford a young woman, a young girl, as much time as we can for her to not just occasionally meet her children, but to set the bar. So that even those who are slow or some are fast, they all get over this bar, and this is what happens in Britain especially, the age of 16. Okay, so when you said that your mother, when she was 10, your grandmother, felt that she was a bit left behind because some of her other ones are at the age of 9, having had 5 9-year-olds, unless your mother was something exceptional, and she could have been, I know that the capacity for consent for my 9-year-old girls to have sex with an adult man hasn't developed, nor had their bodies developed.
Yeah, this is the time and age.
For sure, but what we're saying, can I just finish? This is the most important thing. But within Islam, say if I was a Muslim now, and I said to you that my daughters are married now and they're 9, you would have no problem.
No, I would have a problem.
Oh, how by so?
That's my point. I told you, the habits and the custom of the people plays big role in the ruling of Islam. We don't have one standard that goes everywhere. For example, in the Arab Peninsula, the girls, they grow up more in the heat because of the hot weather, etc. They grow up more than the people who are living in Syria and these areas. Yeah, they grow quicker. Yeah, in a way. So which means the age of adulthood reaches there before the other age. So that's why Islam plays, when Allah said in the Quran that wa'amur bil urf means command with the habits of the people. It means the habits of the people plays a factor in Islam.
Sure.
And that's why when you say to me, I myself, I have 12 years old daughter now.
Yeah.
She is totally unable to be responsible for a house, because the standard that we are living nowadays is different than the standard we lived 100 years ago.
Yeah. Can I ask you a quick question about you determine that she isn't of a maturity?
The habits, the custom and the habits of the people around the society around us, it plays big role. That's my point. Which I was
I can understand.
So that's why when I wanted to offer her for marriage, that's an oppression now for me, because now she is, according to the standard that the people around us, all of them, that's not the standard where they get.
I can understand it.
But 100 years ago, the standard in certain areas were different.
But would I be right? Would it be right to think this is where me and Ali were touching, that within Islam, correct me if I'm wrong, that the age of 9 is no impediment if the family consider their daughter to be mature enough to consummate.
Not the family, society. It's not the decision of a family. Again, this is what I'm. The society, customs of the society decides what is the right thing at that point.
Could those customs be wrong?
Now, we cannot say. For example, it could be one of the things which we need to understand. It cannot be like, everyone is wrong except me, I'm the right one. It doesn't work like this.
I understand.
So that's why we as Muslims, we have to understand that there is something called that bringing to we need to know to reduce the harm.
Reduce the harm. I like that. I like that.
Reducing the harm is more emphasized in Islam than bringing benefits. So if you
I agree with you.
We need to reduce the harm more than the benefits.
Right.
Now, for example, let me give you another example.
Could you've just said something that I think we can agree on, and then you can come back. When you said reduce the harm, this is something that I think is the best practice in society, is to raise the bar to reduce the harm, because the lower the bar, there's greater chances of it to be.
To the standard now in Islam, for example, it gives when the child reaches the age of puberty is entitled to get married. This is the standard. When we need to, before we give the consent or approval, we need to know what is the standard of the society now. Now the standard of the society is changed now. Now there is less responsibility on the children nowadays. That's why they are not getting their maturity, their mind. You might find even nowadays here, you might find boys and girls who are 18 years old, but they are not even mature enough to open a house or to be responsible for anything, for their own deeds, let alone to be responsible on a family.
Yes.
Where at the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him, there is a 16 years old boy who was a leader of an army.
Okay.
He was 16 years old. So the Prophet, peace be upon him, he appointed him. So it was known for the people when that person, he was in a state of mind that he was able to lead.
Right.
But now here,
So Daisy, whoa, juggle them plates. Whoa. Yeah.
I don't want to touch it or anything like that. I don't know who it is. That's the wind. The wind's too strong.
Yeah. Okay, you know,
so
is it shake? Yeah, shake. I mean, maybe we'll wrap it up for now, but yeah. Look, I as a Christian, this is still the position that I would hold. Right, is that I still feel that the collective society, as you said, it is better practice for a girl to be given as much time as possible to mature, because as you say, the lower you lower the bar, the more harm potentially can be done. That's are we agreed on that?
We agree. We need to understand again what I'm saying, what I'm trying to repeat again to you.
Yes.
So Islam, firstly, just give a simple thing.
Yeah.
When the child reaches the age of puberty, is adult, is responsible for his deed or her deed, now is able to open a house. If they want to open a house, that is the day, that's the time when they reach the age of puberty. As simple as that. This is the standard.
Yeah.
Now, what plays role now here? The education system, the needs of the society, all of these things as well has factors which plays factor in the upbringing of the children.
Yeah.
So that's why when I'm talking about 100 years ago, when I was talking to my grandmother, she was mature enough to be responsible for on a baby, where my grandfather has to go and work and be absent for such and such amount of time, and she was able to take care of her own house and to deal with the field and to farm and do all of these things. And to take, at the age of 10, she was in a mindset able to do that.
Okay.
The issue is we are feeding our children different type of education nowadays, and this education, in a way, make them less mature even when they reach the age of puberty.
Yeah.
And I will tell you something. Maybe after 50 or 50 years, after all this social media and all of this, this equipment, now the standard is going to change, and I assume in the future they're going to be the age of opening a house or to start a family 25 or 30. And then another person will come and will say, we need to increase the standard because now people, they are not mature enough to do that.
You know, it's funny you should say that. One of my daughters, she started menstruation at, I think, 8, right? Now, the fact that she started menstruation at 8 didn't mean that she was mature enough to have sexual intercourse physically. This is it. So you have menstruation, you have maturity in the mind, and you have maturity in the body. Now, all of those factors should be given the time to ripen to the point that it's best for the daughter, as opposed to having no bar. So for me as a Christian, I'm happy that we afford the weaker sex more time to mature and come to a conscious decision of what they're doing. This is the way I feel.
This is something that's introduced to the Christian. It wasn't there. Where Mary was married at the age of 12. Will you offer your daughter to be married at the age of 12?
Right. Well, you know what? I actually read that piece. That comes from the Catholic Encyclopedia. It's an apocryphal account of Mary. It doesn't mention Mary, but what it does say, that's how the Jews, they had so it was 12 and a half. They could be married at 11 and a half. They had a year's wait, and then 12 and a half they could consummate it then. But I think it's better. I mean, we could look back in time, a whole load of practices and call to those.
Again, we cannot use your own standard to generalize it everywhere.
No, my standard would be as a father who has daughters. That's all. Now, forget the world standard. The world standard is not good.
Aisha, her father offered her to 2 different people before the Prophet ﷺ, which means he was looking for a husband for her.
Yeah, the father.
The father.
Yeah.
And as well, she was at the age of consent that she accepted, and if she felt regret or something, she had the chance. Even the Prophet peace be upon him died, and she lived life after him. She was entitled to say, you know, I was wrong, this shouldn't be done. She never regret. In fact, she was always talking about that she lived a very happy life with the Prophet, peace be upon him. So the point is, so you cannot decide on her behalf. Even when she was mature and she died later on at the age of 60 or whatever.
Right, yes.
She was always happy about the time that she spent with the Prophet, peace be upon him, which means he never saw it as an oppression or taking her rights, or for example, forcing her to do something that she doesn't.
True,
do you
true.
Get it?
Yeah, I get it.
She had the chance.
Yes.
Well, she had the chance to say it.
For sure, but we could also ask lots of married women, do you wish you'd got married at 9? And I think nearly all of them would say, no, I would have never been mature enough to make that decision. So we can cross, you know.
You ask your wife, she said, would you
have wished you'd have married me at 9?
I wish I stayed until 30.
So she'd have said, I wish I'd never married you.
No.
I don't care. But that's true. I think when you're young and you get married and you look back at it and it's worked well, of course you'll say it's good. But likewise, if you're old and you say, would you have?
It depends.
Okay.
My grandmother, she was happy. And
right,
she said...
I'm pleased that your grandmother was happy, but I still, from my own point of view and the Christian point of view...
Not just only her, I'm talking about the generation.
Okay.
And I'm talking about not a generation of an area. It's not one. It wasn't a one-off thing.
Sure.
It was the norm.
Okay.
It was something norm, which is even to them to criticize it in the society.
Well, you know what, Sheikh? I'm going to walk away from this discussion. It's been good to have this discussion because this is the nuclear discussion in this park. Yeah. Okay. Now, I still have this image of a 52-year-old man and his 9-year-old wife, and have had a discussion of the premature sexualization.
Are you threatening me?
No.
Are you threatening me?
No.
Are you threatening me?
I think, listen, we'll leave the conversation now. You take your bugs back. And I was hoping to have, and we did. We had a discussion on it, and please God, everything will have gone all right there.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Peace be with you. Yeah.
God
bless you.
And as I said to you, just...
Is this one of your people's?
I don't know. It's one of them.
Yeah, I think this is it. Oh, sorry, yeah. Could you, if you take that, there's bound to be someone come back and get it. Yeah, there you go. Anyway.
Okay, Colin.
Yeah,
we like
you
to maybe
care.
wrap up words.
Yeah.
Go ahead, let me touch that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I had a discussion with Ali about a year ago on the age of Aisha. No, it wasn't on the age of Aisha. It was about the premature sexualization of children. And Ali brought up cuties and he brought up a variety of other things. And I thought, brilliant, where we're reaching some, concordance here where maybe we can act in a way to protect children from premature sexualization in schools and in the culture and things like that, because it's not good for young children to be groomed to a maturity that they're not. Anyway, after that discussion, a few Christian friends brought up to me that they felt that I shouldn't have even talked to Ali on the basis that Ali had previously said that once his daughter reaches the age of menstruation or whatever, he'd have no problem with her marrying an adult man at the age of 9. And I thought about that, and I thought there seems to be a contradiction in agreeing that premature sexualization is wrong, but then those same people who we would have said were prematurely sexualized could actually have sex with an adult man at the same age that we were saying it was wrong that the culture grooms them to be sexual people. So we had a discussion today, and I had this and I hope it isn't too graphic, but sometimes it's good to put these pictures in front of you where an adult man is collecting his daughter from primary school. Let's say a 30, 40-year-old man. I'm not saying they would be in the pushchair, but for a society to condone that relationship really caused me a lot of interior pain, because I've got 5 young daughters myself, and I've seen how they grow and I've seen how they mature, and when they're at the age of 9 there is no way that they are physically, mentally mature enough to consent to being married to a man and having sex at the age of 9. And I think me and Ali, we start to have a conversation and then things kicked off, and I spoke to Sheikh and I let them both talk, but I'm completely unmoved. And I think the Christian practice of affording a young girl as much time as possible to fully mature in the mind and the body. And then we've got the age of 16 at the moment. And I would say from my own experience being a dad of 5 girls, that's a good age. That's a good age. It's a good bar. And I think, as the Sheikh said, you lower the bar, you risk more harm. You higher the bar and you give them more chance of prospering. But I think, to close it, if I'm wrong in saying that a girl should not be married at the age of 9 and having sex with a man, on the day of judgment, I don't think God is going to go hard on me. However, if I was to say I think that my daughter should be able to have sex at the age of 9 and I'm wrong, I think I'm going to be judged really harshly and probably go to the fires of hell. So I just hope and pray that Ali, as a dad, and he'll see his daughter mature over the years, that he'll reflect maybe on the conversation that we've had, and he will not see the Prophet Muhammad as the exemplar to be followed, but rather he'll follow his heart and the Spirit to guide him to do the best for his daughter and wait as long as he can to give her the maximum, raise the bar as high as he can, so that when she enters into marriage that she's mature physically and mentally, and give her a few more years, even way beyond that. But unfortunately the whole of the conversation kind of petered out. But anyway, you know, I'm unmoved. I think as Christians we accept that we do develop in our understanding of the human condition, and 16 is good. And look, at the end of the day, look, I managed to have a chat with Ali, and you know, God bless you. It's the Feast of Pentecost. Holy Spirit come down on you, guide you, especially if you're parents. God bless. Take care. Thank you so much.